Greetings Guzzlers, we're going to make another Bundt cake. So I've got my large Bundt tin. This is, I think, in American it's like getting 9-10 cups worth. And that's the recipe, calls one that big. So I can't make it in the Nordic ware one because it's only 6. And I can't be faffed to reduce quantity. So we're going to make it in that, and I've buttered it and floured it in preparation, and I've got my oven on, fan 160. If you're doing conventional, 180. What we're going to make is a ginger and chocolate gingerbread Bundt cake. Now you could use this like in the book that I'm using, Bundt. By Melanie Johnson. Okay, that's the one I'm using. She uses the Nordic ware gingerbread house. Now I've done it in the bloody book, mate, so now I've moved it. She uses the gingerbread house Bundt tin. We're just doing a straightforward Bundt. Okay, so ginger and chocolate gingerbread Bundt. I've got 375 grams of softened-ish butter. She's been a bit of a bugger and don't want to come out. I'm going to put that into a large mixing bowl, along with some golden caster sugar, 275 grams of that. And then I've got some dark muscovado sugar, 100 grams of that. Essentially you've got the same amount of butter to sugar. And now what we want to do is cream this all together. Right, now it's all creamed together, we're going to add about a teaspoon, what's coming out of there, even now, of vanilla bean paste. I've used this before and I've said, they call it paste, but it's like a liquid. I don't know what's going on. I also think by the time we put the ginger that we're going to put in it, I really don't know if this is actually going to do anything. I think there's about a teaspoon in here, and that's it then. Right, and then we want to beat into it 4 eggs, and we'll just do that one at a time. Until they're all nicely mixed in. Now I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt. Oops, stay there, book. And then I want 2 teaspoons of ground ginger. And I think this is a little bit insignificant considering what's coming next. And that is 100 grams of grated preserved ginger. In fact, I had to split it into 2 bowls. I didn't realise how much that takes up. So in that goes, and we're just going to give that a little bit of a mix through before we add the flour. Now I've got 350 grams of self-raising flour, which we're just going to fold it through all that until it's just combined. And then the final ingredient is some chocolate chips. Now it actually looks like there's something like chocolate chips in there. There's occasional dark looking lump. That was a muscovado sugar, which was starting to solidify a bit, so I had to break it up a little bit. It wasn't that bad, but I think we've just got the odd lump in there. So I'm just mixing all that through, make sure I can't see any more flour, and then put that bit in that's trying to escape. There's a little bit of flour still at the bottom, and then I've got, how much is it? 170 grams of dark chocolate chip. Okay, so I'm going to put them in. we're just going to mix all that through. It's interesting because when you actually look at the cake in the book, it doesn't appear to look like it's got chocolate in it. It's more like it's got, well, like you've made it with cocoa, but it'd be interesting to see what this comes out like, because it is a nice dark brown, darkish brown ginger cake. But anyway, we'll see. She now talked about pouring this into the Bundt tin, but this is quite a thick dough, so I think rather than pour it, you might find you need to spoon it in, and then once we've got that all in there, just going to spread it evenly, and then it's going to go in that oven, like I say, about 160, and it's going to be about 35 to 45 minutes. Right, that's been 75 minutes. I've been checking it regularly since 40 onwards. It's still quite moist. And so now we take it out the oven and we're just going to let it sit on the side here for 15 minutes before we tip it out onto a wire rack and allow it to cool completely. So we're now going to attempt to turn this out onto a wire rack. And there we go. So now we just want to allow that to cool completely, okay, before we'll give it a little bit of a dusting with some icing sugar. You could, if you want, mix up some and ice it. Also obviously there's some buttery flour on the outside there, which will sort of remove when that's cooled down a bit. So, catching the tin a little bit there, I notice. Other than that, looking good so far. So that's cooled, getting on for about an hour now, and what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to give that a little dusting of icing sugar. Like I say, if you wanted to make up some icing and drizzle that on, you could do that if you wish. But there we have our chocolate and ginger, or chocolate and gingerbread Bundt cake. So I'm just going to clean up a bit. I'll let that cool a little bit more, and then we can have a bit of a tasting. Okay, here we have our cake then, ready to try. So, I'm just going to take a thin slice. You can see there the chocolate chips in it. Looks almost like raisins, doesn't it? Loads of chocolate chips in there. Still a little bit warm. Nice and moist. The hit immediately with ginger, which is what you'd expect, to be honest. You also get the chocolate, even though obviously the chocolate is only in them chips. It's not blended all the way through. The outer bit's got a little bit of a crispness to it. It is very much like gingerbread, but If you like ginger, can't go wrong. I think it was adding that grated ginger was giving it a bit more of a, almost like a burn to it. Whereas when I made my Jubilee crown for the Queen's competition, I used mainly ground ginger, and it is different. But anyway, your ginger and chocolate gingerbread bundt cake.